Man, believe it or not, lowriding is a beautiful art form.
Lowriding is alive and well on the streets. It's all over the place.
It happens. Lowriding happens.
If anybody's in the lowriding, they're in it deep, regardless of race, color.
Hitting switches, bumping to the right music, that's when you're having fun in the lowrider.
Lowriding, it's one love that brings everyone together.
Lowriding is a way of life and a lifestyle.
It's about how you act, how you talk, how you dress, how you portray yourself.
It's in your hands, it's in your heart. There's no turning back.
It's in your blood. You know, that's the thing about lowriding.
Every day we lowride, in one way or the other.
I eat, I shit it, I sleep it, I do all that, I dream it. It's my life.
Just the way I walk, I'm lowriding.
We're all attention whores. But there's a lot of us who don't want attention until we jump in our car.
You love to show off your ride, all the effort and all the time you put into it. That's what we like to do. We like to shine.
These cars aren't just bought at a dealership and the next day they're on the streets, you know?
You can see the expression of the person in their car.
Cars look best dumped into the dirt.
It's a sport, it's a hobby, it's a way of life. It's a religion.
My father took me to a car show when I was a kid, a Southgate car show, and we walked around and seen the candy painted cars laying in the grass, girls walking around, guys with tattoos. It was just a car show in the hood, and it got me. After that, I was going crazy. I couldn't stop thinking about pinstriping and murals.
It has to be a certain type of car, of course. And you can say anything in the late 30s to maybe some of the late 80s. We're kind of like trapped in that little realm of car designs.
Traditionally, a lowrider is a two-door American car with hydraulics, 520s and wire wheels. Homies actually hook up bombs too. Sometimes they're four doors, but you gotta have hydraulics in your car for it to be a traditional lowrider.
The motors, they're all beautiful. Different types, Corvettes, 350s, you know.
It's got to be lowered, you know, whether the suspension is altered or maybe you throw on those 13-inch, 14-inch spoke rims.
The spoke wheels, you know, the little tires, the hydraulics, that's what's considered a lowrider.
The hydraulic part of it, the up and down part, and the candy paint, of course.
Hydraulics, 520s, white walls, candy paint, metal flake, pinstriping, custom interior. To me, that's the definition of a lowrider.
And it could just be a straight candy or just a straight, you know, pearl. Or, you know, I see some guys out there with not even pearl or candy, just the base coat.
The way we hook them up is it's all about taste and style.
If we're going to represent lowriding, we have to do it with class.
And that's the thing about lowriding is it really is an art on wheels, you know, from the paint jobs to even the wheels. I mean, just there's so much detail that goes into lowriding.
And a lowrider has to lay on the ground. If it doesn't touch the ground, it's not a lowrider.
I don't care what it takes you to remove the coils and just tuck the tires, lay the thing on the floor. If that gets you there, that's cool. The heart and soul of what I think is a lowrider is the 520, the small tire with a white wall. Whether it be spoke wire wheels for some of the bombs, it's the artilleries, or the crossbow hubcaps, which is cool. That identifies immediately.
In 1970, Mr. Craig started Zenith Wire Wheel Company in Campbell, California. In 2006, he passed away, you know, and his vision was that he wanted the company to be an employee-owned company. We, the original employees of 30 years experience, we decided that we wanted to start a company called the Wire Wheel King and keep the legacy alive. You know, the cross laces, 72 spokes is what we pretty much are known for. All of our wheels are actually handmade. Back in the days, you were able just to buy a set of wheels and you can only get them chromed or gold. The way things are now, you know, guys come in here, they want to build a car, and a lot of times it's powder coating, engraving. You know, you got a certain car, you got a certain paint scheme. You know, you want the wheels to kind of match. When building our wheels, we actually have to put the hub on top of an adapter so that we can adjust the offset of the wheels. And then you have to actually run the spokes through the hub, connect them to the nipples, and tighten the nipples down. Now all you're doing is basically assembling the wheel and then actually getting it ready to go to the next step. The tuning is a major part of wire wheels. If you don't tune them, your wheels aren't going to run straight. They're going to look like they're wobbling on you when you have them on your car.
It only takes one spoke locked up tight or loose to cause you problems. I'm holding the indicator because now I'm getting such small movement in the wheel, it's hard to see by eye. So I feel it going by.
Right after tuning, you have to silicone them. It keeps the wheel tubeless. And the only reason you would run a tube is if the silicone was leaking. We put a silicone over the nipple so that you don't have to run a tube in these wheels. None of these wheels are ever been ran with tubes. Now, when you're putting the wheels on the car, the wheel actually sits onto an adapter that is bolted onto the car. Now the knockoff is actually what keeps the wheel in place and tightens up, and that's basically taking the place of lug nuts. A lead hammer is the only thing that you could use when you're tightening up the wheels, especially when you're tightening up the knockoff and you're going to put something onto chrome or you're going to hit something that's gold plated. The lead hammer is basically what we really strive people to use only. Now that we're the Wire Wheel King, it makes us feel proud that we're actually doing something that Mr. Craig actually started, and we're keeping the legacy going. You know, we're keeping it alive. We're able to still manufacture something that was manufactured 42 years ago.
When I was 13 years old, I used to go to Los Angeles to the city of Compton, which the movement, a lot of lowriding was involved back in the day. And I would see these guys go up and down the street. This is something different that I've never seen in my life. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a 64 convertible is what I saw on hydraulics with true spokes back in the day. That's when I was a little kid, and those cars are still popular these days.
I mean, everybody's going to have their claim to fame and where lowriding started, where the capitals are, but at the end of the day, you can't argue about Southern California and the whole automotive custom industry.
Los Angeles, even East Los Angeles, is the mecca, the nucleus of the lowriders.
Los Angeles is the founding place and the mecca of lowriders. Everything starts here. Most all trends start from here.
LA's been lowriding since the 40s. And, you know what I mean? They OGs. LA's a historical place, and like, you know, they're the ones who really opened up the market for all of us.
You know, those people there from that region, they have been the trendsetters. They have been the ones leading the way.
Some guy would break out with something new. Let's say he's got 4 pumps to the front and he's hopping better than the next guy. So that week, those guys who lost, they go back and they work on their cars. So there's a lot of guys who are innovators in Southern California.
Why I think Southern California or California is the capital of lowriding is because you just gotta go to the shows and see yourself. You know, they come deep. They got some of the best builders in the world here.
So I think sometimes we get a little comfortable and think this is it, no one can get you, but people are watching. There's always somebody better than you or already came up with that idea.
I believe they say the capital of lowriding is New Mexico. You know, I believe they have a Hall of Fame out there and stuff. And you do see a lot of low-lows when you go out there. You really do see a lot of them.
But being raised from LA, I would have to have blinders on. Yeah, most of the car clubs and everything, yeah, it does come from LA. A lot of it does.
Although there's a lot of people now worldwide who understand the whole lifestyle of lowriding, everybody still looks at Los Angeles to see what's new, what's happening.
There's also beautiful lowriders in Texas, San Francisco, even into the Midwest. But this is the promised land as far as lowriding goes.
Don't get me wrong, you know, Texas got some beautiful cars and there has been some world champions from Texas. I'm just saying this is probably more of the capital of lowriding.
A lot of the roots of lowriding came from LA and Southern California. A lot of them came from San Jose too, up north.
LA is the mecca, but there's a couple of meccas out there. You know, San Jose too was a big mecca back in the day too for us up here.
They say it started in San Jose because that's where the magazine with Sunny Madrid first started around in the 77. You can't really say what happened, who was the first one, who was the best, where it comes from.
But we can go anywhere we want to and be accepted. Like if I'm somewhere in Texas, I call up my man Sam Torres.
It feels like can't nobody really touch the way California does it, you know. And I'm speaking for the whole California, you know, northern, southern.
One thing I can honestly say though, they real riders out there in LA. Basically their weekend in LA starts on a Thursday. They cruise all the way from Thursday, hard pouring the boulevards till Sunday. That's a long ass weekend, bro.
If I had to say who gives us a run for our money in lowriding, other than California, I would say it would be Tokyo. I've been going since the early 90s. Japan is out of control with lowriding.
Hydraulics is one of the main ingredients to build a lowrider. From a basic hydraulic setup to a custom hydraulic setup, there's no limitations. Today we're showing you Dave from Style Car Club, his beautiful 1958 Chevy Impala. And today we're going to show you a little overview of the whole car. On the trunk of this 1958 Impala, this is where you traditionally find a lowrider setup. The pumps in a lowrider serves as the heart of the whole system. The pumps is actually what generates and pumps the fluid from the back of the car to the front cylinders and to the back cylinders, causing the car to go up and down. The batteries serve as the power source for a hydraulic setup. The more batteries, the faster the pump spins. So on a normal traditional lowrider lay and play type of car, you see anywhere from 4 to 8 batteries. So in this car, you see the lines come from the back of the car to the front of the car. The lines is actually what carries the fluid from the pump to the front cylinders. The front cylinders are put into the position of the frame pocket itself, but it can't just go into any car. You actually have to alter the full frame of this car to fit and adapt the cylinders and the coils into the front of this lowrider. In any vehicle that has altered suspension, being hydraulics or airbags, it's always highly recommended to reinforce the frame as much as possible. The reason for that is because you actually put stress on the frame and you could crack it, bend it, tweak it. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and show you how to assemble one of the pumps that we manufacture here at Hot Wheels. Alright, so this is your standard hydraulic pump that you would see in your traditional lowrider. When you hit your switch, it controls this right here. This is our motor, and when you hit your switch up, it sends a current into the motor, which actually spins this guy right here, a gear, and these are all connected. The gear sits on the back side of the block, which is inside the tank. The tank is actually the starting point of all the oil. This gear is fully submerged in it. So when you hit your switch up, the gear actually sucks the oil that's surrounded in and shoots it through the fittings and through your check valve and the Y block that we just made. And this guy serves the purpose of diverting the pressure that's sent out from the block into the two corners of your car, so it'll lift your car up evenly. When you lower your car, it's actually the same way, it works the same way as when you lift it. You hit your switch down, and that actually controls the dump. And when you hit the switch, the dump actually opens up, which allows fluid to run through it and back into the tank, allowing your car to go into the down position.
I was a teenager and I was living up in the Bay Area at the time, not too far from Oakland. And coming from the smaller town I came from, known as Hayward, where there were hardly any lowriders, it was an eye-opener for me, and I instantly grew, a connection with the lowriding scene.
Who would ever thought it'd get as big as it is now?
Before it was something that you did to get away from gangs back in the day and stay positive.
It's easier now. It's easier, before you go down the street, get a ticket for hydraulics, it kind of seems they're not worried about lowriders no more.
These days, lowriding is much, much better than the past. I can honestly say that because back in the past, there was lowriding clubs that were shooting each other.
Back in the day, there was a lot of trouble going on back and forth in the industry. We weren't quite mature yet. We're still, going through a lot of things at that time.
Back then, lowriding was part of being the gang, stuff like that. Now it kind of seems everybody can hang out.
It's a lot easier now to go cruising than it used to be in the 80s. Cops will pull you over all the time.
Things changed a lot. That when the Daytons were really hitting hard, people were getting killed for them things, Now it's like you got these other wheels that are way more expensive and they're not killing for them wheels no more.
You gotta be straight up in this game. Just like Tupac said, all eyes on me. Everybody sees us.
With the lowrider industry today, it's just that they matured so much into a family-oriented thing.
These are hardworking people who just really enjoy their cars, and they include their families, and they go on picnics and give toys to kids, the Boys and Girls Club. There's charities behind them, and it's all about being a big lowriding family.
We're still living in the same mind frame that we're in the 70s and the 80s. We're still there, It's just different. We just have more experience nowadays on how to build these cars.
You can go and buy a brand new car back in '79, put wheels on it, paint it. You're done. You're the king of the boulevard, Nowadays, you have to invest $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 into these cars. You got to work your butt off for that stuff.
Back then, they weren't really making four-door cars lowriders, like the newer Cadillac, stuff like that. But now I'm pretty much doing it on four doors. It doesn't matter.
In the 80s, early 80s, everybody bought a mini truck back then. But as you can see now, you don't see those things no more. So it went right back to the old traditional, the luxuries, the bombs, the bomb trucks, the Impalas, the traditional Impalas.
And a lot of people that never thought they would like lowriders, people are gonna watch this and they're gonna see the quality and how much time it takes to make them and the craftsmanship and the artistic side of it.
My name is Reyes Carrillo. I am 31 years old and this is my 59 Impala build. I bought this car for $8,000 in Arizona back in May 2011. The last time it was registered and on the road was 40 years ago. An older lady owned the car prior to me, made me promise to take care of it and restore it, and send her photos when it's done. I'm doing everything on my own here in my backyard. I save tons of money that way. Right now I'm at $27,000. I don't care what it takes, whether money, work, and time. I've always wanted a 59. I've completely redone the interior by myself. The engine was redone, suspension, body, paint, body mounts. Basically everything from the ground up except for a frame off. There's a lot of ups and downs along the ride, which makes every build unique. I have taught myself and learned a lot along the way and shared my experience online. By now, almost 100,000 people have followed my build online so far. To build your dream car with your own hands and see it come alive again, it's the greatest sense of accomplishment.
Almost there.
Here we go, on our way to the gas station for the first time. Obviously it's not quite done yet, but the 59 waited 40 years, so a couple of more months will make a difference. Unfortunately, I won't be able to send the previous owner any more pictures. Last week, the lady passed away, so now it's all about finishing this project and bringing my baby back on the boulevard.
My uncle had a 65 Chevy Impala, and back then the look was to put weights or cement blocks in your back of your trunk to lower the back of the car, and the front would stay up. And he had some small tires on it, little donut steering wheel, and my parents actually bought that car for my uncle in the early 70s, and we went to school in that. And I thought it was cool, you know. My mom drove a lowrider and took us to school in elementary and picked us up. Sometimes the guys from the neighborhood, they would think, oh, who's that, you know. It was just my mom picking up me and my brother and sister.
You want to see, wow. You want to see 3-4 seconds of that car, if you will. That's cruising. I do know that if you have something that you want people to look at, it doesn't help to drive at 60 miles an hour, unless you're on the freeway. But if you want people to see it, you go a little bit slower.
The beauty of lowriding to me is cruising down the street and being a historian at the same time. We restore our cars and find parts from the 60s and we put them together and we build these cars and then we take them on their voyage.
All those elements as far as getting the attention on your car, the sun shining, the wind blowing on your face, you know, blowing through your hair if you have any. It's hard to relate to anything else. It's almost like, you know, an adrenaline rush.
The freedom of choice to show our culture off is what we like.
We go about cruising different than like hot rod guys. It's just a whole different vibe, you know?
I'll hit switches on them, you know, chrome, painted, candy, I don't care. It's gonna get a nick here and there, but we only live once.
I mean, if you're gonna put that much money into a car, you gotta enjoy it too, you know?
My biggest thrill too is when I get in my lowrider and I go pick up all my grandkids to school, because I give all the kids a little showtime right there. Start jumping the car side to side, up and down, and I can see all my grandkids. Yeah, that's my grandpa over there.
When you cruise the boulevard at night, it can go on till 3, 4 in the morning, you know?
You get that car ready, and then you hit the boulevard, and then all eyes on you. And that's such a good feeling.
You love to show off your ride, all the effort and all the time you put into it. That's what we like to do. We like to shine.
Driving down the street, you see people losing their minds. You see people going crazy. They can't believe what they're seeing.
We're all attention whores. But there's a lot of us who don't want attention until we jump in our car.
The thing, it's a car show on wheels, so you want people to enjoy and see it and appreciate it and give you the thumbs up if they will, or they check out your car. That would be your trophy back then because there weren't that many car shows.
You're upholding a whole legacy that started, you know, in the 70s of what we do, of driving a sick chariot down the boulevard.
You have all walks of life giving you the thumbs up and approving, you know, what you do.
So of course, when people compliment it or they look at it, you feel good about it. You've created something that's eye-catching.
If we pull into a random parking lot, we shut down the parking lot. The party is there.
When you pull up with the right music, hitting switches in your car, just getting the attention, acting a fool, you know? That's my thing.
Man, it's the freedom, it's the attention, it's the beauty. I mean, it's everything, bro.
Nothing beats driving your lowrider on a Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. It's just therapy for us.
Also known as Danny D. I'm a pinstriper, custom painter. I've been involved in painting cars for about 27 years, I would say. I work on cars 6-7 days a week, and they're always lowriders. To me, I mean, there's nothing better. I did model cars as a kid, and I lowered all of them. Same with my bicycles, lowered all of them. It wasn't called lowriding when I was a kid. I was probably 13 when I started airbrushing and painting, and then I started doing posters for kids at school, and people just kept asking me to do stuff, and my mom and dad finally said, why don't you charge for that? So today we're working on a 53 Chevy 2-door hardtop Bel Air. This is basically a classic car. It's all done original. And this particular customer wanted some striping on here, which a lot of guys don't really want to do, but this customer wanted something that wasn't going to stand out, but just give it a little personal touch. To pinstripe a traditional bomb is pretty difficult because it has a lot of round edges, where traditionally most cars have straight body lines. Your choice of color is very important. If it's just black, white, to me that's just a blank canvas. I love loud colors. I love the blues, the purples, the pinks. My car is pink and purple. Let me add it. Let me do what I need to do to let you shine. Right now what I'm going to try to do is a little trunk piece to tie in all the striping that I've been doing. Usually this is a piece that's always a little more elaborate than the rest. There's no set pattern, there's no pre-pattern or anything like that. I just kind of go for it. Try to do right, left, mirror image off the center tape line that you see here. If anybody out there wants to get something painted by any painter, don't put them in a box, just let them go. And their talent's gonna come through onto your car, who's gonna make who you are. This is who I am. I gotta be the best I can, and from what I told them, I'm one of the best, if not the best. But I don't think that. It's just what they tell me. My signature is this little character that I used to draw like in the 70s. And it's a little cholo from back in the days, which is basically a little gangster. Just kind of tells people that I'm a Chicano who does this type of work. So this is a little Chicano character, a little Cholo character. And it's kind of a kick in the teeth where one of my teachers, he'd always tell me, Mr. Galvez, you'll never amount to anything. You keep doing that stuff. Thanks, buddy. And then my little signature. And then finish it off with the Ike. And Ike is like, and what? A little bit of attitude when people look for my name. Everybody does something different. So for me to say that nobody influences me, I'd be lying, because everybody influences what I do. I hope I influence somebody someday.
When I was in 6th grade, I saw Candy Lime Green 64 that was up there in a beautiful neighborhood, brand new homes where we were raised, not too far from East LA. And that car just stood out in the driveway, and we looked back as it ended, holding our little book bags in the car.
You know, people don't understand that everybody looks at all of us.
The media portrays lowriding in a lot better way than in the past now.
Back in the day, they used to rent lowrider cars from movies and then do drive-bys, bank robberies, murder, in a candy orange convertible lowrider, which if anybody was gonna go do dirt or kill somebody, you wouldn't be in the loudest show car in the world.
It did hurt the lowrider industry as far as, you know, Joe general public now thinks that everybody who's driving a lowrider sells dope, is a pimp, is some kind of gangster and drinks 40s and smokes weed all day. That's not the case. We're all hardworking people. We're blue-collar guys and even girls, and we just love our hobby.
As far as the whole lowrider thing goes, it's pretty much a lot of politics in it, you know?
Some is good, some is bad, you know what I mean? They're always gonna hate on us.
The way sometimes we dress and look, it may look intimidating to some people, but I really think that it's improving.
Because of videos, rap videos, lowriding became commercialized. And you got to see different types of cars and people and everything. And it's just mainstream now.
In the automobile industry, they kind of consider us like the unorthodox riders, you know what I mean? They look more at the hot rodder, muscle cars, whatever.
There's still a lot of prejudice in the car world. When we go to like hot rod car shows, you can feel the prejudice. You can hear people talking. Everyone that owns a lowrider is a drug dealer.
I think it's up to us to do something to make these guys realize that, you know, it's not the same the way it used to be. It's way different. Usually when you go to these shows, man, you'll realize a lot of these guys are very, very open arms, you know. They look a little tough, they look a little rugged, but most of them are really nice family guys.
So listen to the play-by-play, day by day, rolling in my phone with 16 switches, rolling in my 6-4. What all the homies say.
You know, with the West Coast rap videos, music videos, they didn't portray lowriding in a negative light. You know, I'd say for the most part, they made them look cool, they made them look fun, and you know, it made it popular.
It made a lot more people aware of what that style was. Then Dr. Dre made it real famous in the 80s, and everybody wanted a 64 convertible with the white interior and green metal flake. And that's all good, because a lot of people, a lot of different cultures got involved in it, and they opened their hearts to it, and they respect it now.
It let folks know what a real lowrider really is. It's avenues like this that makes us better lowriders also, you know what I mean?
I think a lot more people now accept it and understand it. They do see the goods and the bads. They see that everybody's having fun, and they see the kids out there in the lowrider bikes and all of that stuff. So I think it's more accepted now. It's not as bad as it used to be maybe 15, 20 years ago.
We're not really concerned with if people like our lowriders or not. The cops even give us thumbs up nowadays.
So if you want to see something bad about lowriding and hold it down, you can find it. But for the most part, most of it's very good now.
When we go to Europe, people love it. They look at it as an art form. They look at it as great because they don't have the violent side that America has to deal with the hood and the streets and poverty the same way like with lowriders. So they don't look at a lowrider and think about gang graffiti or a robbery or something. They just look at it and go, oh my goodness, look how beautiful American culture is. That's how we look at it. We're saving and preserving a certain period in time when things were different.
We don't get to have too many of these around, so every time they do come around, it's like once a year for this big of an event.
The show's going great so far. You know, I've been pretty much slammed in our booth over here, so I haven't been able to check it all out.
It's going great. We're having a blast out here. This is what we live for, to be here.
Some great quality cars here, and the vibe is good.
Show's doing good right now. Really good response. People are enjoying and saying that we're kind of putting it down here.
We're right here, Tourist Empire, LA, kicking is our hometown.
All different kinds of people, everybody gets along, you know, it's all because of the cars.
You know, it's a big weekend. Some people went out to the river, everything, but hey, I gotta come show support to my friend Sam.
You know, I want to say thanks to Sam Torres because he's bringing it back what it belongs to us, the lowriders.
I think that's why they all come, because I think everybody just wants a little respect, and they'll give you respect back, you know. The vibe is very, if you look yourself, it's very family-oriented. Everybody's cool, everybody's calm.
The show started at 11, and we were ready to go at 11. You know, and I'm also selling these shirts here, poster prints of photography I've taken, and you know, just trying to promote myself. It's all around a good networking experience.
I hope that at least I get to meet and greet some of the people, sign some posters, some t-shirts, and give them away, you know, gotta do that too. So I just want to shake hands and kiss babies, you know, and meet people.
We've actually been, you know, running around since maybe 4 o'clock this morning. Probably went to sleep about 2 o'clock last night, you know. A little bit of the security work, a little bit of getting the bands together, you know, getting all the cars set up and trying to make sure everybody's happy. Right now I probably got about a good 900 cars here. I can't let the fire burn down. You know, this thing's burning, it's hot.
Well, this is the Easy E car right here. I picked it up a couple months ago. It was in a storage unit in Hawthorne for quite a few years. I got it basically, kept it all original, the way Easy E had it. The only thing I did was re-chrome the bumpers. So the bumpers are all triple chrome. All OG interior that Easy E had, original paint, original Dayton's. Pretty much the way he left it. I plan to basically just keep it exactly the way it is and kind of keep Eazy-E's legacy going too. I'm the biggest Eazy-E fan. When I found out about this car, I was like, I gotta have it. It's a trip, like driving it and hitting the switches to Eazy-E's music. It's like, you kind of feel like he's sitting next to you. I've had some good offers from some people from Japan, but I'm not gonna sell it. It's gonna stay here in LA where it belongs.
For here to be a sponsor is something that you're gonna connect with the people on a ground level. You know, these guys are obsessed with cleaning their cars, they're obsessed with making their rides beautiful. So for Sanction, we have to be at these type of events, ground level, kicking it right here with everybody. You know, it's not some big corporate machine that's sending someone down. It's us. We build Lolos. We're on the streets too.
The Lowrider Show, it brings a lot of people together. and you get to see people that you haven't seen in years. So to me, I've been seeing a lot of good friends that I haven't seen in years. Thanks to Torres Empire that is bringing them back together.
This is my second year here in LA, but I've been doing the shows for about a good 7 years. Definitely every year we're gonna try to make it bigger until we get to that spot where I wanna be, like that 4-day show. You know, my dream is to have that 4-day show, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Years ago, they stopped the LA Super shows in LA, so I mean, Sam brought it back. This is his second show out here, and everybody seems happy. You know, they like what they see. You know, a lot of cars came out. I've seen a few older cars I ain't seen in years. I'm talking about years. I mean, it's good to see old cars like that. People bring them out the garage and everything, but so far, you know, good turnout.
Sierra's playing. Brent Wood's gonna play. They did the hopping contest already. You know, there's only a couple hours left, and you know, there's still people coming through the door like if it was, you know, early in the morning.
Al Ray is a 1963 Chevy Impala that myself, my son Albert Jr., and one of my cousins, Bethel, we all three built together. Vehicle's been with me for 19 years. Prior to me, it belonged to my father-in-law, whom deceased 20 years ago, so I kept the vehicle, and we made it in his honor. That's where the name Al Ray came from. So, you know, we're keeping him alive, his spirit alive. It took me approximately about 6 years to build this vehicle, and I don't want to keep it put away, but you know, we just come out to the major shows and represent for our car club, which is Elite Car Club out of Pomona. It's overwhelming to me because I built it from my heart, for me foremost, you know what I mean? And it's won several of awards, and it's done extremely well. I drove this car for many, many years. It's seen the boulevard quite a bit, but once I finish showing it, I plan to put it back on the boulevard. The car is fully functional. People from the outside look at a vehicle like this and think, you know, it's just strictly for the trailer. Not true, not true.
Tom Torres is a good friend of mine, so next year I will be here for sure.
I'll be back next year to support my boy Sam.
Kids really is our future. You know, our lowrider industry won't be around if we don't get them involved, you know, so getting them involved, getting them to want to be at the show because of all these rides and having fun, that's what we want, you know, so we're very happy with that.
Man, you know what, guys? This show is bigger than it was last year. I thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Next year's going to be bigger and better, so you guys get fired up, get ready.
Nobody ain't dying, like I told you. It ain't gonna die. It's just gonna multiply, baby. You know what I mean? It's gonna go bigger and bigger.
I don't think lowriding will ever go away. I mean, especially with the media nowadays.
It's something that's happening now, and it's bringing people together worldwide.
Driving a lowrider, they don't mention the nationality, and that's what's so cool about it.
That's when you really say, like, you know, it's worth it. You know, I'm having fun with my car.
This is better than any Xbox or PlayStation 2 or whatever. Switches, man. That's it, bro.
Me, there's nothing other than lowriding as far as my day-to-day lifestyle.
I can't picture life going on without tattoos or lowriders. It's foreign to me, you know?
Lowriding is whatever you want to take it to be, you know? Lowriding is what you want it to be in your heart.
You'll never replace those feelings, you know, your first time when you see a car totally lame and then it's yours. It's like you're a little kid running around skipping and hopping.
It's our life. It's our life, bro.
Lowriding is necessary for us. Lowriding will always be here for us.
There's a lot of hard work to gain that respect, and a lot of times in life that's what it takes. So that's a great accomplishment for lowriding, and that's what it is.
Wow.